Everybody, just real quick here with XRP, I forgot to mention back when we made this 1, 2, 3, we took out the top. It wasn't a legitimate breakout. So this, right, was only 3. So if it came up 4 or 5, you could say, okay, that could be the end of the 5th. But instead, we only had this 3-wave move, which suggests to me that this was the top. Right? So this was the top. So this was an A. We come up for B, right? And now we're coming down into C. So it's an expanded flat pattern, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, you come up for B, and 3, take out the top, right? Which is a fake out. B waves are often fake outs. Then you come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe we hit the low one more time. Maybe we flag out. Maybe we build a base. It's hard to tell right now. If I pull up the Fibonacci retracement from the high here, we did come all the way down to the 886. So, I mean, we're pretty well deep into that correction. Let's see. Do I have it on log scale? No. So, yeah, we've dumped plenty deep enough for it to be a proper ABC. So I would label it just like this. So we have an A, come up for B, and then all of that is C. And this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So that's one idea that I didn't get to talk about in the previous video. I kind of wanted to wait and see, if the total 3 in Bitcoin work its way down to the bull market support band. If so, then we could still have some more selling pressure. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. And then when you zoom out, it still would qualify on the bigger time frame for it to be a triangle. So you have an A, B, C, D, and now we're getting E. So potentially at the end of the E wave, at the end of the expanded flat. The problem is, when you look at total 3, it's still quite a ways away from the bull market support band. The good news is we did take out the low. And you could say, well, why is that good? We were taught that's supposed to be bad, It's good because liquidity is underneath here. People have their stop losses here. And a lot of times people will go short when it breaks the low. But when you fast forward, you have a 1, 2, 3. You have a 3-wave move that broke the low. So oftentimes it's just a liquidity grab. Now it can turn into a 4 and a 5, right? You would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then you meet up with the bull market support band, then you go. So it'll be interesting to see if that occurs. What would XRP do under that scenario? Looking back at Bitcoin, we have still the potential of it to be, a triangle, A, B, C, D, and then we have 1, 2, 3 for E. That would be kind of, the best case scenario for the bulls. But when you talk about macro, we're still holding above this trend line here, right? It's still making low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So we're still consistently making higher low. So as far as the market is concerned, it's just, kind of like a flush out, but still holding, good structure here. So it can obviously turn into an A, right? Obviously an A, B, and then we can turn into, reaccumulation, right? So A, B, or I'm sorry, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. You go sideways, then you break out. It's kind of been the main idea, but the bigger, more hopeful idea was that we come down and test the bull market support band. But now, since the market flushed so big, so much, if Bitcoin comes all the way down here, the altcoins are really, really going to get crushed, which means they would probably lose their market structure, which makes me believe we probably might not get down there in time, unless, of course, this drags out all summer, right? Or at least for another couple months. But that's why we take it day by day. Looking at total 3, we did take the low, so you know we're pretty close to the bull market support band. When you look at theta, right? We still haven't touched it yet. But also it too can be an expanded flat where you have an A, you come up for B, right? And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A, B, C. So some type of expanded flat. Maybe it's finished. Maybe it has one more hit to the low. The point is, I think by next week we should have a more clear answer. Going into the weekend, it's just kind of hard to gauge what it'll be like. But my bet is that we hold support and we at least flag out or create some type of base here, right? Because we're already up from the low. We're up about 7%. So I think zooming all the way into the 15-minute chart, you can see we have this bounce to the upside, right? Even smaller than that, we have this. Maybe we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come down, get an ABC, come back up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it turns into an A, B, C. And then from here, we can either make another low or just come down and retest the low, basically ranging in here before making a decision. Do we get one more low or do we start the reversal now? It would appear like we would get another low, but for XRP, you kind of don't want it to have another low. XRP looks like it should be done now, but the rest of the, total 3 looks like it has a little more. Bitcoin has, if it came down, then it would be a lot more, but if it's in this triangle, it would be basically over with. The price of theta also can be over with as well because it did take out the low. We have a clear 1, 2, 3 structure. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if we have one more low. The question is, how does XRP fare if we do have one more low? What we don't want is to break below this low, which is the February 2024, or I should say January 2024 low. So if we go to total 3, where's January at? I think it's right here. So that would be the equivalent. So think about that. XRP is down here, and the rest of the market is up here. So XRP is way down here. So if you look at, let's look at theta. So January 2024, that's this right here. That's this low right here. So that's the equivalent, right? That's the equivalent of theta coming all the way down and breaking below 85 cents. That's how serious it is, right? So, XRP is like hanging out right here. So it doesn't have much room left. That's why it really needs to get going. But the rest of the market has plenty of room down to the bull market support band. So that's kind of the situation. Now, am I buying the dip? Am I getting scared out of the market? I'm definitely dollar cost averaging, not financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice, but it would appear that XRP should find at least a local bottom, if not one more low, without breaking 50 cents. Basically, we want to stay above 50 cents. Now, if for whatever reason we did break below, right, and we took out all of this low down in here, all that would mean is it's repeating the same thing that happened back before, right? So if you look at what happened before, the big blast off, we had a big liquidity grab. So here's our support, right? All in here. We're bouncing, we come down, we take out the support, and then bam, we blast to the upside. Don't even look at the wick, just look at the bodies of the candle, even a trend line here, right? So fast forward to today, you can see if that were to happen, right? We would come down, take out the low, maybe 36, 37, somewhere between 37 and the mid 40s, right? Grab that liquidity, then go. So that would be sort of worst case scenario for XRP. And that could happen if Bitcoin decided to test the bull market support band. And if the things moved at the same velocity as they did today, because Bitcoin didn't really move too much, but the rest of the market took a big beating. So if that is sort of the theme, then we can expect something like that. But right now, I'm not expecting that at all because it still looks like a nice triangle here. A, B, C, D, and now we have 1, 2, 3 for E, right? Low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. So there's nothing to be concerned about yet, and we're still holding the previous low. So I just wanted to give a quick update there on XRP. This doesn't change anything at all when you look at the big picture, because the big picture still suggests we are in reaccumulation. A lot of people complain XRP, it doesn't do anything. It's terrible and things like that, and I get it. But at the end of the day, right? We're in reaccumulation, just like, the last time, right? And it takes a long time and it's dreadful. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. We can go, we're sideways. So we're going up and down, up and down. We're not going anywhere, right? Before we end up going somewhere, and we go very quickly and very surprisingly. So, the SEC did take a loss today, which is good news, right? And remember, you get these big liquidations in bull markets, right? You get these big flush outs, 20, 10, 15, 20, even 30% sometimes in a single day, right? And it makes you believe it's all over. And then, the next following weeks, we start pumping again. But the way I look at it, when you look at XRP, this whole thing is reaccumulation. We have a range down in here, right? We broke out of that range and now we're in a second range right here. And basically, this range is a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. So we're getting very tight in here. We want to see it, turn around rather quickly and, break out of here. So, I think that is still the course of action, is once this range is complete, because again, when you look at Bitcoin, it's still very bullish. All XRP needs, all really the whole market needs, is for Bitcoin to have another wave to the upside. Once Bitcoin, because it's right around that all-time high, once it starts accelerating back to the upside, you can see total 3 turn around quickly. It might take a couple weeks, right? I think it's probably is going to take a couple of weeks, because if you look at the structure of the chart, it would be nice to just get it over with now, and for this to come all the way down, tag it, then come all the way back up. The next week sort of be a flat candle. Then the next week we start pumping a little bit. And then the next week we start to break out. So something like that would be ideal. But who knows? This can continue to drag on until we get back down here. So we're at a very interesting point right now. And, subscribe for more updates. I will for sure, try to provide as best as I can to see how this thing plays out. But macro, this is what we've been talking about for weeks now, which is getting back down to the bull market support band. And we're very close, right? We want to get that would be the ideal thing. The only question mark is Bitcoin still quite a ways away from it. So we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I'm still macro bullish. We're still in a correction. Remember, when you look at Bitcoin, right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had 5 waves to the upside. So it takes time to correct in here, right? And typically you come down and test this. But if this is a triangle, we can have one more hit to the high and then come back down and test it later. So I'm like, well, let's just get it over with now. But for XRP's sake, since it's very close to that breaking that low, I'm like, well, maybe it's best if we just not take out this low and continue. So but yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for tuning in, and if you guys would be able to hit that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment, and that's always very appreciative, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.